Hi, ladies. Thanks so much for taking a few minutes to speak with me. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Hi.
Hey, Kristen.
The episodes I've seen have been absolutely hilarious so far. Can you talk about what it's been like to be part of Shoresy? And, is there any standout comedic moments that you could think of so far, for you personally?
I think honestly, anytime Jared cries, it's funny. He does like this really awkward, like cry orgasm thing. And to try to like be like stone cold while he's doing that was so hard, but it was so fun. Like it was just such a great environment to be a part of.
Oh man, there are so many good moments. I mean, he's just so clever with his choices for Shoresy. Shoresy's such a comical character. He's so funny and fun to watch and animated. I also have to say that working with Ryan McDonnell, Marcusman Michaels, the goalie, that was a true joy. We have one scene together and we just couldn't stop laughing. We have more than one, but we had one like two-hander, and we rehearsed it and we were laughing so hard, and he was just coming up with cool things all the time. I won't give it away, but that was one of my favorites.
Yeah, there was so much magic. I would have to say one outstanding moment for me was when Tasya and I were filming the caribou scene, which is in episode 2. And it was the end of a really long day, and it's a long scene. And we actually went top to bottom with it, and just Jared stopped us at one point and he was like, okay, now just make it a little closer together. And the dancer brain in both of us immediately physicalized that. And we like jumped together at the same time, like bumped shoulders. And he was like, no, I mean the words.
Yeah. Because we block shot that whole scene. It was supposed to be separated, but because it was snowing so hard, there was a lot of like logistical kind of things happening, and we were running late. And so we're like, me and Keilani looked at each other. We're like, let's just try to get through all of the scenes. So there would be these little moments of pause that were hanging between as we changed scenes. And Jared just was like, yeah, just get it a little closer together. And like, we immediately like bounced off of each other off camera. And then we just heard everybody behind camera burst out laughing. Because we were like, oh yeah, that's not what you meant. Because we were literally already standing like shoulder to shoulder. So there was no getting closer.
There's going to be some good bloopers for sure.
Oh my gosh, I can only imagine. And then Blair, I think that, a lot of your banter, like your character's banter with Shoresy is some of my favorite. What is that like to play up? I'm like, what insult are they going to throw next?
It was really fun. I mean, Shoresy annoyed Zeke to no end. So he really made it easy. It was really funny to be head to head with Jared so much. And it was just so cool to be able to spew those back. Like I grew up in an environment with my brothers playing hockey that the chirping is all I know. So that came easy. There was no hesitancy. And like he was so smart with the writing in it that it just felt really natural all the way through. So honestly, it was a joy. Every time him and I go head to head, it was a battle, and it was just so fun.
That's great. And I mean, it's wonderful to see, some female characters in position of power and everything with this. So what has it been like for you guys to delve into these characters? Is there anything you were surprised to learn about yourselves?
I didn't know I could chirp so good.
Period. Yeah.
Like every female is born with the chirping potential capabilities. One of the things I really appreciated about the show that they did was when we went to go see the League, there was this episode with us 3 standing off to our 3 elders, and the 3 women at the League were chirping us. And then it ended up, and then we all came together at the end of this moment, and there was a nice respect thing. But I love that they showed them chirping, and yet there was no cattiness. It wasn't like people there's no resentments that are held onto in this world. And I love seeing women interplay and be bosses without being catty and without being,
Yeah.
in so many other shows, you see it that way. And in this world, it just doesn't exist. The women are very powerful. So of course it feels amazing to embody that and portray that.
So, I mean, what do you ladies think that, Letterkenny fans, are going to take away from Shoresy?
I still think it has like an essence of Letterkenny when it comes to the humor, but when it comes to the storyline and the aesthetic and the feel of it, it is something that is completely on its own. And I think that's what's going to be refreshing for a lot of people. It's like a completely different take on a character that you do already know and you're familiar with the chirps and the jokes, but it has a completely different heartbeat to it. And I think a lot of people will appreciate that.
Absolutely. So, I mean, for each one of you, I know, obviously Shoresy kind of relates to different people in different ways. So, for each one of you, which would you say that, how does your character relate? What are their motivations, as we continue through the season?
I definitely think we all have a passion for not losing. That's definitely our number one motivator. Along with also Nat has built this like love of community for everybody. That's what she's known her whole life through her mom. And I feel like that trickles down into everyone. It is something that is like, it's like hockey's a group sport. We are a team. Like, even though we're not on the ice, we are all part of something and we all have the same part and want that same goal. And I feel like that shines throughout all of it.
Mm-hmm. I feel like, in a lot of ways, art imitating life with this. Jared is an incredible leader and he's really great at bringing us all together. He's really great at making an inclusive project. And as a creator myself, endeavoring on my own projects right now with my new production company called Two Rivers and a Rose Filmworks. I feel really privileged to be in his presence and to learn from him as a friend and as a mentor, to have his feedback on some of my work, some of my scripts that I'm bringing to life. And I admire him so much. And it's been a privilege working with Jared on Shoresy. He's a great Shoresy.
Sorry, can you repeat the question? There's someone mowing the lawn outside, and it's just been a little distracting.
Oh, it's okay.
I just said time out my responses. What was the question?
I mean, as your character, Shoresy relates to different people in many different ways. So what would you say that your character's motivations are going through the season and the best way that you relate to Shoresy?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really smart and beautiful that the driving force behind Nat and I think the two girls, and also in some capacity Shoresy. I mean, Shoresy, like, we all hate to lose. We all love to win. We hate to lose. But ultimately, we want bums in seats. Like, we want families together. We want kids off the streets and playing sports. So there is that heart behind. It's not just about the vanity of never losing again. It's about creating a winning hockey team so that people can rally and get that excitement and the community can come together, and cheering, for an underdog or cheering for a team, as an audience member watching the show in this comedic way is such a smart way of, organizing a show. So I think it's really relatable because we've all been in those places where we feel like the underdog or we identify with the underdog. And so watching a team try to, pull themselves out is always relatable and fun.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you guys so much. I appreciate you taking a few minutes to speak with me. The show has been amazing so far.
Thank you.
Enjoying it. Thanks for having us.